Welcome, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you to everyone who's joined right now. Part two of our Midterms Explained online series. This is you are the lucky ones that get to experience it live, and then the masses will be able to view it and listen to it after the fact, both on YouTube and on audio. And today I am very lucky to be in conversation with the chair of the Michigan Democratic Party, the lady herself, Lavora Barnes. Hi, Lavora.
Hello, hello, hello. It's great to be here with you.
Thank
I
you
love
so much.
your background. I love all that you've got going on, Manny. I'm just saying, I love it.
Thank you. It used to be a mop closet, and now it is my office. So I'm not mad about it. But there's not very much space in here. If you're going to have a small space, you might as well be surrounded by sequins, is what I think.
Make it fabulous.
So let's just jump right in. Everyone, you all know the drill. If you have questions for the chair of the party, please type it in the chat. This is participatory. We're going to keep this to 30 minutes. Sorry, we started a few minutes late. So what I thought we would do, the way we did it with Nancy in Pennsylvania, is start at the top and filter our way down. So let's start. There's no Senate race up, right? We have two Democratic senators, Debbie Stabenow, Gary Peters. We don't have to worry about it. So let's move right on along to the governor. Governor Whitmer is up for re-election, right? And people are saying it's going to be a close one. It's supposed to be a toss-up. So what is the state of the race for Governor Whitmer? How is that race looking? And what would it mean if she, God forbid, lost her seat?
First of all, we can't let her lose this seat. This governor is the only thing blocking the Republicans here in Michigan from doing some terrible, terrible things to voting rights laws, women's rights laws, all of the laws here in Michigan. The fact that she has that veto pen has saved us over and over again. We have to keep her. There is a Republican primary going on right now. There are about 13 nut jobs in this primary. I don't know how it's going to come out. I tell you, every day another one says something ridiculous. There's one who's filed his petition signatures. You have to file petition signatures to get on the ballot. He's filed his. He has said he's going to self-fund and that he's got all the money in the world to do it. We'll see how that goes. And they're all, Trumpsters. So here's the thing you need to know. Okay. This governor is the one that Donald Trump called that woman from Michigan. He's put a target on her. He wants her taken out because he does not like her. He doesn't like women at all, as you know, certainly doesn't like a woman in power and a woman who pushes back on him. So they're coming for this governor. She has done a magnificent job moving this state through COVID. She's done the best job she could possibly do with our economy, given the fact that she's got a legislature that tries to block her at every move. She said she was going to fix the damn roads, and then the Republicans in the legislature did everything to make sure that she couldn't. Partnering with Biden, we've got money coming into the state to do just that, fix the damn roads and do other things here in Michigan. And she's pushing it hard. She has got to win. Whoever comes out of this Republican primary is not going to be qualified to be governor. Let's be clear about that, but is going to be supported and funded by Republicans all over this country. And so we have got to have her back. And we're going to here in Michigan. We're building a strong ground game to support her. She's raising money. She's working hard, but she's going to need support.
Good. So it sounds like a high-profile race.
Absolutely.
It's going to be well-funded on the Republican side.
Yes.
She has done a great job. I actually had the honor of doing a little Zoom lunch with her, and I thought she was fabulous.
Isn't she amazing?
She's amazing. Yeah. I'm looking forward to meeting her in person someday. Okay, let's go. And we all know about Governor Whitmer. She will be coming to California soon, hopefully, and you all will have an opportunity to meet her as well. She's freaking fabulous, and she can't lose. Let's go to Congressional, because this is a little bit more complicated. So you guys recently had an independent redistricting commission reveal the maps, and I read a lot about it, but I want to give you the opportunity, Chairwoman, to talk about your feeling about the maps. Some folks are saying actually pretty fair. You did a lot of good work. The Detroit State Senate delegation went from 5 members to 9. The State House delegation from Detroit went from 9 to 15. Apparently now there's 3 toss-up seats because of the redistricting. Help us understand, what did the redistricting do for the congressional map?
So the biggest thing redistricting did was give us opportunity on the west side of the state. I don't know if you all paid attention last cycle, but we tried hard to pick up the seat that Peter Meyer holds, District 3 on the west side of the state. This new District 3, we can win it. The same candidate who ran and did such a terrific job in 2020 is running again. She's amazing. Her name's Hillary Skolton. Look her up, send her money. She's spectacular. We can win this seat. That's the big news out of this district. Okay. On the east side of the state, what has happened is that we've drawn Southeast Michigan in such a way that we're now going to have a primary between two terrific members of Congress who we all love in the form of Andy Levin and Hillary. Hillary and Andy are friends. They are friends of each other and they're friends of mine. This is a tough thing. But exactly, Haley. I'm sorry, I called her Hillary. Haley. So they have to run against each other, but we've got this seat that's the 10th district. That's also a possibility for us to pick up. It is where a lot of folks wanted Andy to run because it encompasses a good bit of Andy's current district. He's chosen not to run there. So we are looking for a candidate to run there. So two possibilities for us there. And then of course we need to protect Dan Kildee now, who's in a seat that's a little less safe than Dan's old district was. So Dan now becomes someone that we pay attention to and we protect. And then, of course, we have to make sure we continue to take good care of our mid-Michigan member of Congress, whose name will not come to me right now because this is what COVID brain does.
But if I have this right, then right now there's 6 Republican-leaning districts, 4 Democratic-leaning districts, and 3 toss-ups.
And 3 toss-ups.
So there is the possibility in this election of actually flipping the balance of power in the Michigan congressional delegation by 1 seat to our side. Isn't that true?
That is correct. That is absolutely correct. And we can do it and we will do it.
And that's District 3, District 10, and the district in the middle.
Correct. Which is now 9, I believe.
Okay, I got it.
9.
So sad when Democrats have to run against each other in these redistricting. It's happening in other states as well, but
it's so painful. And then, of course, I think you all probably also know the other thing that's happened is that we are losing our one Black member of Congress. Brenda Lawrence has announced that she's not going to run again, which is a huge heartbreak for me. But we are determined to make sure that Michigan continues to have at least one Black member of Congress by replacing that person in Detroit. So we're going to keep working on that as well.
That is unfortunate.
I know.
And we got to protect it. I'm going to get to the state legislature, and then I wanted to ask a more broad question about the redistricting, because this is probably the most high profile redistricting commission result in the country. So it's worth talking about. But the state legislature, this is exciting. So apparently the state legislature, the Republicans only have majorities in both houses by 4 seats, right? So a lot of people are saying that of all the state legislatures to flip from red to blue, Michigan, you all finally, up there in your cold weather are the one of the greatest opportunities we have. So tell us about the state legislature and what we could possibly do to flip those houses.
It's exciting. And getting fair maps. We've been fighting the Senate cycle after cycle after cycle and have never been able to get there because of the ridiculously gerrymandered districts. We now have a possibility that we can pick up the Senate. As a matter of fact, the Senate draw of these maps is so fair that I actually, if I had to rank them, I would say that we are going to be closer in the Senate than we are in the House because of the way they've drawn these maps. This Senate map is a real possibility for us, and I am so excited to watch these candidates run and support them. On the House side, though, there is absolutely a path. There are about 17 districts in there that seem like possibilities, some more than others, for us to flip or pick up in the state house. So we're going to fight for each and every one of those. These caucuses and I are working hand in glove together to make sure that we're doing economies of scale. Our field operation will cover House and Senate races so that they don't have to build up as much field and can spend some more time on mail and phones and of course, eventually television, because we do TV for State House and State Senate here in Michigan. So real possibilities here for one, if not both of those chambers. So
amazing.
Exciting. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Is there one member in each house that you want to profile in this moment, maybe 30 seconds on each, that you think people listening in should tune into and learn more about, that they should learn more about in the state, in the Senate, and in the House?
Those are really good questions. So I think that in the state House, as we continue to field candidates, the one thing you need to watch for are the women and the people of color that we're recruiting and the teachers. And there are so many of them that I hate to even name one of them, but I have to tell you, they are all over the state, and keep your eye on county. Because these are places where we're seeing a lot of progress for the Democrats, and this is where these seats, many of them are concentrated, and this is where we're going to make the difference. If we can make a difference in Kent County and Oakland County, we win these chambers.
Awesome.
I'm excited.
Are there any other elected offices or elections that you think are important to talk about before we move on to voter suppression, registration, and messaging?
So we need to talk about Secretary of State and Attorney General. The 2 women who hold those 2 seats here in Michigan Dana Nessel and Jocelyn Benson have been amazing at their jobs and continue to be part of this sort of three-person group with the governor who have blocked as much of the voter suppression and the evil that the Republicans try to move themselves. Dana Nessel will sue anybody, take anybody to court, charge anybody with a crime that she can. She just recently announced that she did a whole investigation on the fake electors that tried to put themselves forth here in Michigan. This is a woman who will take on anybody and anything. We've got to get her reelected. And the same with Jocelyn Benson, who's just one of the most brilliant women in the world and the best Secretary of State, I think, in the country. And we need her here in Michigan to help us keep having our free and fair elections. So important.
So the Secretary of State and the Attorney General are currently occupied by two female Democrats that are running for re-election.
Correct. That is correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Everyone getting that? Everyone listening? We're all paying attention? Good. So let's go to voter suppression and voter registration. We talked to Chairwoman Mills 2 days ago. Gosh, it's felt like 2 months ago at this point.
Wow.
Tell me about it. And she kind of was feeling like, they've actually done a pretty good job at holding back a lot of these laws. What's the state of play in Michigan right now with all these voter suppression laws, and how are you making sure that we register as many folks as possible in the next 10 months?
So here's the weird quirk of Michigan. We have a law in the books that allows for a citizen-initiated ballot petition. The Republicans who failed to get their legislation through because we have the governor and she vetoed their legislation have now moved to do a petition initiative to get this legislation passed. This, if they're successful, bypasses the governor's veto. She can't veto it. All they have to do is get 340,000 signatures from the many, many millions of folks here in Michigan, and then the legislature can pass these bills without being able to veto it by the governor. This is scary to all of us. If they are successful in doing this, they will roll back all of the rules around absentee voting, around voter registration, around same-day voter registration, all of the work that we did. I mean, they don't even like drop boxes. Like, they don't want you to be able to drop your ballot in a drop box. All of this gets rolled back because the Republicans have this ballot initiative. So we have folks on the ground fighting hard to block the petition signatures to see if we can stop this. And we're also thinking about our own ballot initiative. Again, resources being pulled from the work we need to do on the field, but our own ballot initiative to go back and protect these voting rights again, because I feel like we just did this in 2018, where we expanded voting rights, but we have to do it again. We have to keep fighting them.
I want to make sure I understand this properly. So there is a ballot petition that would make it a lot harder to vote. It's currently in the petition signature gathering stage. Correct. But it wouldn't necessarily influence this election, right?
No, at this point, we've slowed them down enough that they can't get it done for this election. It will be the 24 election that it would impact. Yes.
Great.
Yes.
Okay, and registration efforts. Tell us about the voter registration efforts that you, as the chairwoman of the party, are implementing to make sure that we win.
So we are very focused on registering new voters and re-registering folks who have moved from where they originally registered. Here in Michigan, we have a pretty good registration rate. So we worry a little bit less about sort of the global voter registration. We do targeted focused voter registration. We go to campuses to make sure those college students are registered where they can vote. And we go into, frankly, the city, like the city of Detroit, the city of Flint, to make sure that folks are registered and are registered where they live. That's the big push for voter registration for us. And we've got folks on the ground doing it, and we're trying new methods because of COVID, but we have folks on the ground working on voter registration every day, even in the cold.
I'm curious, what are the new methods that you're utilizing to register folks, COVID notwithstanding?
Yeah, so one of the things that our folks are trying is to start with a relational, you guys know about relational tools that folks use, right? So start with a relational outreach tool on the organizer level, where you have family members, finding family members and making sure that they're registered and where they're registered, so that we sort of target folks based on family member contact who need to be registered or re-registered, and then go to them. So rather than having our folks standing, in public spaces where COVID is, we're trying to be more careful about where we go and when we go to make sure we're being safe with our volunteers.
Chairwoman Mills mentioned in the last call that she's starting in-person gatherings and meetings of the party. Where are you all on that? Because there's, some fear that the Republicans, they don't care enough about public health, and they've just been, barreling ahead with in-person stuff. Meanwhile, we're being left in the dust. What is your thoughts on that? And what's the party, what's the strategy of the party?
Our party meetings are still virtual. We're still using Zoom for just about everything. We just had a conversation about, we've got a convention coming up in April, and when will we make the call about whether or not we gather in person. But We are starting to scout and open field offices all around the state for our field organization, and those will be open.
Nice.
How many people will be allowed in them at a time will be a question that we will answer with COVID protocols, but we are not going to be totally virtual. We're going to have offices all over the state open because we need to have a ground game. We learned this in 2020. We're not going to seed the ground because of COVID. We're just going to do it safely.
Nice. I just have a couple more questions. We have 10 minutes left, and I'll get to some of the questions, the great questions in the chat. The primaries. When are the primaries? Give us the timeline. When is the primaries? When is all this happening? And what are the key months for folks to get involved in this kind of stuff? And then I'm going to ask you how they can get involved after.
So first we have a couple of special elections. Some folks won elections in 2021 who were members of the legislature, vacated seats that we are now filling. So those elections are happening in early May. So those are going on right now. There are just 4 of them on the State House side. And then our general primary is in August. It's a late primary, which drives me crazy. Doesn't give us enough time, I don't think, to ramp up and get ready for the November election. So we will have as a party an endorsement convention in April, where we will endorse candidates who would be on the ballot in November, and that allows us to call them the Democratic choice and start working and spending on their behalf early.
Great.
So we will do that in April. Primary is in August. The general election, as you know, happens in November.
Got it.
Yep.
Last question for me at this point is about getting involved. We're getting a flurry of direct messages about how people can support voter registration in the state. So how can people help with this current voter registration effort? And then beyond that, what are the ways in which people can support what's happening in Michigan? Because it very much clearly is a central state in this fight to protect our majorities. So, all eyes on Michigan. So how can people help with voter registration from afar? And also, in general, what are the best ways that people can help make sure we win?
So it's not going to surprise you. The first thing I'm going to say is that you can donate to the Michigan Democratic Party.
Yes.
You can find that link on our website, click on it. The other thing you can find is a volunteer link. We will be specializing those volunteer links out as our coordinated campaign starts to set them up. There's someone on the coordinated campaign whose whole job it is to deal with the sort of distance volunteering. And what I'm going to ask you to do is volunteer. Become part of the group of folks who get on the phone and call other Michiganders and ask them to participate in our campaigns, ask them to vote, ask them to find their friends, neighbors, and whoever who need to be registered and direct them to us. Because our Secretary of State is so amazing, we finally have online voter registration. Nice. So some of what we need to do is send folks a link to help them figure out how to get themselves registered, which is a new thing here in Michigan, relatively because of Jocelyn Benson, one of the things that the Republicans would roll back if we let them. So we have a whole host of ways folks can help us reach out to folks in Michigan and make sure that they are registered and are voting.
How exciting. So you can register to vote online in Michigan. You can help from far away. Are those phone banks happening now? When can and should people start getting involved in this stuff?
So our distributed organizing team has been phone banking all along. Here in Michigan, we don't stop, can't stop, won't stop, right? So we've had phone banks
going like Michigan.
All along.
You guys are fun.
So yes, the phone banks are happening now. Our distributed team is looking for volunteers all the time to be on the phone. So yes, people can volunteer. And Manny, I can make sure you have all the links that you need. I'll get them from the team so that you can share them with folks, and so folks know how to get in touch with someone if they want to volunteer.
Okay, and my team that's tuning in right now, if in the next few minutes you can find some of these links, go ahead and put it in the chat as well as the donate button for the Michigan Democratic Party. So there's a question in the chat about messaging, and I think this is important because there are a lot of Californians here, and we have our view of the country, and of course we're respectful of the fact that not every state is exactly like ours. So the question is, how are you planning to brand state and federal candidates to avoid getting into Republican talking points and making it harder for them to win their elections? So what's the branding exercise you guys are doing? How are you thinking about branding your candidates, and what's your strategy with that?
So first of all, I'm gonna be honest. This is where I spill what my daughter would call the tea. As much as I would like to be able to control the messaging for every candidate who runs as a Democrat in Michigan, I recognize that I cannot. But what I can do is help them understand how important it is to tell their story and to talk about the good things that Democrats are doing and to localize. It drives me crazy when our local candidate, you're running for state house and you're standing on someone's porch, you're talking about a federal issue, you're arguing with them about Medicare for all. Talk about the issues that are important to your voters at home, learn those issues, learn your district and talk about those. And let me at the party do the work of, as we like to call it, we want to define the Republicans. That's a nice way of saying, I want to tell everybody in Michigan what nut jobs the Republicans are, the crazy insurrectionists who are running all up and down the ticket, and why they shouldn't be supported. But I can do that from the party while these folks go out here and talk about what they're going to do that is positive for their neighbors, their friends, and their community. And that's my goal, is to help them be able to have those conversations with their voters from Congress all the way down. And even the governor. I mean, the governor, we talk about this all the time. The governor goes into Macomb County. She talks about Macomb County issues. She talks about what she has done for Macomb County. She talks about how she's going to fix that road down the street. And by the way, it's called Gratiot. And I know it gets to get fixed, right? That sort of thing.
It's
localizing.
Gratiot
Gratiot is a street, yes. Which nobody knows how to pronounce, which is why I use it as an example. It shows that you actually are a Michigander if you actually know how to say it.
Oh God, so I just failed that test, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
People are asking for what would be the top 3 issues that Michiganders care about.
COVID.
When we're talking to your voters,
yep.
We make sure that we're acknowledging what they care about.
Yeah, somebody in the chat is from Macomb County and knows Gratiot. I love that. So we have three things we're hearing from people most, and it won't surprise you for a lot of it. One is COVID. People are still very interested in COVID response, and the conversation around mandates and masking and all of that remains high on people's list of things that we talk about. Number 2, of course, an offshoot of COVID, the economy. And what has happened to small businesses around COVID and closures and reopening and all of that. And then a big thing that we still hear people talk about here in Michigan, infrastructure. It's because these roads are crap, right? She said she was going to fix those damn roads. The Republicans have stopped her all along the way to try to fix those damn roads. She's now fixing the damn roads. And the other part of infrastructure is water. I know you all heard about what happened in Flint. It's happened in Benton Harbor. It's happened in Detroit. We've got these lead lines that need to be replaced. And the governor's got a plan for replacing those lead lines with the help of the Biden administration money that's coming through. So those are the issues that we hear about a lot. And those are the issues that we're talking about when we talk to voters.
Chairwoman, how are you doing?
I'm tired, but I don't care. I'm so excited to get this shit done. I apologize. I curse. My team tells me I need to stop cursing all the time.
That's okay.
I am so fired up to get this done. At the same time, I'm so angry with the Republicans. I'm so angry about what happened in the US Senate. I want change. And it feels like every time we take several steps forward toward that change, something comes along to block us. Sometimes it's us. Sometimes we do our own blocking, as you all know. But I need it to get better. I need it to get better for that girl who's sitting over there that you can't see. I need it to get better for my newly born grandson. And so I'm fired up to get it done, but I'm tired. You know, we've been working hard for a long time. I know all of you have. But what I tell my team is we don't have time to be tired right now. Take a little bitty nap. You took a little bitty nap over Christmas. Get up and get back to work.
Well, I'm sending you lots of love and strength from my little drag closet here in San Francisco.
I love your little drag closet. I'm a little jealous of it.
Well, anytime you come to the Bay, you let me know, and I will show you the drag closet. And I think I speak for all the folks on this Zoom call. We're all sending you love and strength. Your role is so important, and I'm so glad I got to meet you. You seem perfect for the gig, and Michigan is lucky to have you running its party. Please, thank you. Please, yes, let's send the link for to donate to the Michigan Democratic Party. Again, just like with Pennsylvania, we will be sending you a set of notes with everything that Chairwoman Barnes talked about today. Just a quick, see if I can summarize it somewhat quickly. Senate, we're cool. Governor Whitmer, we got to protect that seat. It is a toss-up. It'll be very well funded on the Republican side. We have a Secretary of State and an AG, both women Democrats who are up for re-election. They need to be protected. And we've got major pickup opportunities in the Congressional side and in the State House and Senate. Only 4 seats away from majorities in both of those houses. And there are 3 pickup seats for the Congressional delegation. Very exciting. And lots of needs for phone banking, organizing, voter registration. There's a ballot initiative that, thank God, won't even be passed or voted on until That won't affect this election, but it could affect future ones, so we have to prevent it from happening. Please donate to the Michigan Democratic Party. And the last thing I'll say is a quick plug for Tuesday, part 3 of 5 of this Midterms Explained series. Our very own Director of Programming, Precious Green, will be interviewing her hometown Congresswoman, Representative Nikema Williams, who replaced Congressman John Lewis and is now represents Atlanta in Congress and is the chair of the Georgia Democratic Party. Do not miss that.
Guys. You're gonna love her. She's
amazing. You should tune in for that. Well, I'm sure you've got better things to do. You can do whatever you want. You're the boss lady. But if you want to. But yeah, on Tuesday at 12:30, same time, Congresswoman Nikema Williams will be in conversation with Precious Green about what is going on in Georgia. We know that there's a lot of very important races there as well.
Stacey.
Go what?
Stacey Abrams.
Stacey, of course. Last thing I'll plug is the Manny Sponsors Program. It's $36 or more a month. It is what allows us to provide this kind of programming for you, for free, for everyone. So if you're not already a Manny's sponsor, please support our work by becoming a Manny's sponsor today. Chairwoman Barnes, final word goes to you. How can you take us home?
I would love to take you home. Here's the thing, guys. Can't stop, won't stop. Keep working hard, keep doing what you're doing. And thank you for giving us shit about state parties, because you know what? It's really hard for us to find folks who understand the work that state parties do and support it. So thank you for that. Whatever you do, thank you for what you've done. Thank you for what you're about to do. And please, we'll rest next December.
All right. No resting until next December. No. Everyone, let's give Chairwoman Barnes a round of applause in our little squares. Can't stop, won't stop. See you guys on Tuesday.
Thank you all so much. Bye-bye.